Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
How we all doing? I know this is a little makeshift, but this is a beautiful House of Labor, and I'm honored to be here with all of you. Let me say thank you to Stuart for the kind introduction. And let me say, I look out in the crowd and I see a bunch of good folks from Pennsylvania here. Let me hear you. And I see them all right here, but let me just say, Angela Farida and the head of our state AFL-CIO, I am proud to partner with you to make progress in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Our Commonwealth is home to 750,000 proud union members. Union members who built the middle class, union members who built the bridges in Pittsburgh, who educate our children across this great Commonwealth, and who do the hard work every single day to help our fellow Pennsylvanians with their needs. I've been there when organized labor in times of tragedy and triumph, when the eyes of the nation were on us, have stepped up and done their part to protect our interests. It was about a year ago when I-95, that critical road that stretches from Maine all the way to Florida, that carries 200,000 cars and trucks every day, when that road collapsed and the experts told us it would take months to rebuild, it was the hands of the Philadelphia building trades that rebuilt that road in just 12 days. 12 days. When the eyes of the nation were on us, it was organized labor that stepped up and did what was necessary to get our economy moving again and to get our families moving again. We see it in big ways and small. The way a child can learn because that young woman dedicated herself to being a teacher. The way that young child can walk to and from school in a safe community because that police officer cares about their community. This is what organized labor has done for us, and I want you to know I will always have your backs.
Yes, we have yours.
Let me tell you something. I think it is critically important in our Commonwealth and across this country that we treat everyone with a level of the same respect. Whether you choose to be a lawyer or you choose to be a laborer, we are going to respect whatever path you choose, because in this nation, everyone should have the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. That is one of the reasons why on my first day in office, as the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I signed an executive order making 92% of all state government jobs no longer require a college degree. 66,000 doors of opportunity were open to people who no longer had an arbitrary barrier holding them back, but instead were welcoming them, saying, we're going to value your skills. We are going to recognize you for your talents, whether those talents were cultivated in the military or in a union hall. We've invested in VOTEC again, and we've invested in, hear me on this, union apprenticeship programs at record levels. And we are using the power of government to put more people to work. For the first time ever, student teachers, Becky Pringle, now have stipends available to them so they can earn a living while they're learning to teach our kids. For the first time ever, sisters and brothers in the building trades We are using PLAs when we do big work projects in our Commonwealth. And in Pennsylvania, we respect the union way of life. Let me tell you who else respects the union way of life. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz respect the union way of life. Whether there are SEIU nurses working with our seniors or whether it's someone building a road in the heat of summer, the level of respect that is being shown to our workers is unmatched when it comes to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They've spent a career doing this work. You know, Kamala Harris and I have known each other about 2 decades. We've both been prosecutors, we've both been attorneys general, and we have both gone to court to stand up for workers who've been screwed by the bosses. And there couldn't be a more clear contrast in the race for president. Kamala Harris has gone to court. Kamala Harris has walked the halls of power. Kamala Harris has been by Joe Biden's side to stand up for workers. And what has Donald Trump done? Donald Trump quite literally went to the Supreme Court of the United States and petitioned those justices to make this nation a right-to-work nation. Hear me on this. As long as Kamala Harris is president, this will never be a right-to-work nation. Never. Let's not forget. Let us not forget, because I know some people out there, not in this room, but there's some people out there who have a little bit of brain fog about what it was like when Donald Trump was in charge. When he was in charge, he quite literally packed the NLRB with a bunch of corporate lawyer shills who worked overtime to take away your rights. We're not going back to that. We are not going back. And you can tell what Donald Trump's values were. I remember this vividly as Attorney General. He put a rule in place that said when you go to a restaurant or a bar and you tip your waiter, your waitress, your bartender, that they wouldn't be able to keep their tips, that those tips would be sent to the back of the house. The owner of the restaurant would keep those tips. We went to court against Donald Trump because everybody in this room, we stand up for those waiters and waitresses and bartenders and the people who often don't get the level of respect they deserve in our economy. And let me tell you something, we kicked Donald Trump's ass in court, and we are going to kick his ass in this election. You know, in Pennsylvania, I know Pennsylvania is a long word, but a lot of letters in that word. We really, in Pennsylvania, live by 3 simple letters. And they're the same 3 simple letters that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz live by. And that is GSD. We focus on getting shit done for the American people. And I'm so excited to have partners in the White House who are going to work with us the way Joe Biden has worked with us to rebuild our infrastructure, to stand up for our teachers, to stand up for our nurses, our cops, our firefighters, and do the hard work necessary to move this country forward. Now, here's the last thing I want to say to all of you. I know that this is a moment where there are real threats. There are real challenges. And Donald Trump poses a serious danger to our economy, to our workers, and to world affairs. But notwithstanding those challenges, I want you to know I am more optimistic and hopeful than ever before. And I'll tell you why. Because throughout our shared history, over the last 248 years ago, the first chapter of which, written in Becky Pringle's hometown of Philadelphia, it has been patriots constantly coming together to write the stories of our American history in ways where when the story and the chapter begins, it always ends with us in a better place. Every chapter in our American story has ended with us being more just, more free, more tolerant. And while there have been times where we've taken a couple steps forward and it feels like maybe we're taking one back, in every single chapter of our American story, it's been ordinary Americans rising up, demanding more, seeking justice, looking for a better future, and writing that chapter in a way that leaves us in a better place for our kids and our grandkids. And throughout that history, it's been organized labor. It's been folks like you on the front lines doing that work, not just to win the election before us, but to create a more just and tolerant and peaceful society. So the reason I am hopeful, the reason I am optimistic is because of all of you. We have been here before. We have triumphed through adversity, and we will do so again over the next 80 days. My friends in organized labor, the task now falls to each of us to win this election, to write the next chapter, and to build a more just and tolerant and inclusive society. Are you with me? Yes! Then let us do the hard work. Let us get this done. Let's elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and build a brighter future for all Americans. Thank you all. God bless you. Let us get to work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.